What is going on, guys? Welcome back to a new YouTube video, and today's training was the last deadlift training within this block, meaning I was really hyped to push my set of 5 that I had, and we actually went for 255 kg, so a 5 kg jump from last week's deadlifts. They moved very easily. I was trying to warm up a bit faster than usual, also because I just overall felt very warm in the sense that actually the gym was pretty hot, so it was not a lot of warm up needed for that, but also because I was doing smaller jumps. So I actually jumped in my warm ups from 220 to 240, and then I only, quote unquote, only had a 15 kg jump for my top set of 5. That is, relatively speaking, a smaller jump than I would take, for example, in between attempts for a single. Usually we would take, like, say 20 to 25 kg jumps, maybe a 15 kg jump from the second to the third if the second moved a bit slower, but overall definitely feasible to jump in wider steps. Either way, the top set moved fairly well. The only thing that was bothering me was because it was so hot, I was sweating a lot and my grip was not the best on that day. We still got it done. I believe the fourth one I already knew that, like, my grip was giving out a bit, so then I recollected myself and just, like, right away did the 5th rep. After that, I'm seeing that, like, from watching from the front, I had also a slight tilt, and it might be because I have to always deadlift, well, diagonally on these shitty platforms, because these platforms, the problem is, or why many people also ask me, hey, why do you, like, deadlift diagonally? It's because these platforms have rubber mats on the sides, and these rubber mats are giving in quite a bit, and it is very uncomfortable or very like unstable to stand on them. And especially if you're lifting sumo, you will apply force throughout your feet sideways, meaning you won't necessarily only push vertically off the ground, but you will also try and push with your hips the ground apart, if that makes sense. So you can think of your toes being the direction of force vectors that you're applying or distributing the force to. Meaning if your toes are rotated out, it's most likely that you also, the force that you're applying to the ground is moving the same direction your toes are pointing to. After the top set of 5, we also had a top single, or what you would call a fatigue single. So what a fatigue single basically is a very light single after you have done your rep work, because now we're still 11 weeks out from competition. We want to prioritize the rep work. We don't want to go overboard and just go ham on singles. That is not how you build strength. Real strength building takes place in the reps of 5, reps of 3. But here, the fatigue single simply has the purpose of getting accustomed to doing singles in the first place and touching a slightly heavier weight, or relatively lighter heavy weight. Sounds stupid, but I mean the 280 are probably somewhere around 85 to 90% off of my 1 rep max, so it's a relatively easy weight, even though I was prepping hardcore for the lift, but it turned out very nicely.
Pride of line ranun Munagre Godel Vigoduni.
Menace and methods label me a lethal weapon, making niggas die, witnessing breathless imperfections. Can you picture my specific plan? To be the man in this wicked land, underhanded hits a plan. Scams are plotted over grams of rocks. Undercover agents die by the random shots. We all die in the end, so revenge we swole. I was all about my ends, fuck friends and foes. Me, a born leader, never lead a block without my heater. Got me a dog and named him my bitch nigga eater. What could they do to me, a little brat? Shit, them niggas that shot me is still terrified I'll get they ass. How can I show you how I feel inside? We outlaws, motherfuckers can't kill my pride. Niggas talk a lot of shit, but that's after I'm gone, cause they fear me in the physical form.
The backoffs were lighter. We had 225 for 1 set of 5. I was trying to see whether I could do it with my hook grip, but I decided against that because it was insanely hot, and I just didn't see the point of, like, trying to fuck up my thumbs or anything during hook grip, so we just stuck to the straps, even even though I disliked them a bit, but it was still good. To get the back offs in, they were very light, and it's just, the back off work is just to build the foundation, right? To accumulate the weekly volume, to practice the skill, to get in the kilos and get the practice. We already did the top 5, but one set would be too little to stimulate really the building of growth, the building of skill. I mean, deadlifting is a skill, right? Especially sumo is very technical. You want to build up the skill, and so this back off was there for this reason. Actually, I believe it's 230 kilos, so it wasn't even that light, quote unquote, but still I believe 9 to 11% less than my top set. I like to have these kind of jumps in between sets. So say my top set of 5 was 255. Now this is 25 kgs less, which is just 10% off, a little bit less than 10% off my top set. And these are the kind of jumps I like to take from my top sets. So for squats, I would always advise, at least for me, I need to back off my top set weight a little bit more, so I wouldn't be able to do a heavy squat and then just jump 5% off. I usually need my 10% jumps, and for deadlifts it's right around that range too, whereas on bench it's easier to handle higher loads. So there I just usually back off by 7 to 8% just to give my body less stress. And then we move on to squats. I switched the order, by the way. In the past few weeks in this blocks, I always had the squat, like the past competition squats, and then followed by my 2x7 volume set before my deadlifts actually. But on that day, I felt so like out of energy because 1, it was very hot. 2, I only had 1 meal in, so I was running a bit low on energy, and I was afraid that I would lose my focus, my concentration, and my energy in total by the time I got to the deadlift. So I pulled the deadlift in front and did the squats after that, and tried getting done with the workout as fast as possible, even though once again we had, I believe last week we had a 3 hours 30 session. This week I think it was a 3 hour flat session, so a little bit better, but not really. Just happy to have gotten the work down and being done also with this block, because I feel like I really need the deload now, and I'm looking forward to that. So that being said, guys, I appreciate you guys watching. Wish you guys all the love, all the power. Have a good one.
Send me to hell, cause I ain't begging for my life. Ain't nothing worse than this cursed ass hopeless life. I'm troublesome.
Flundi heni orbidi gal anveriasin Oblain ranun Munagri Bodil Vigod